So the next thing we're looking at is angle XYZ. So looking at this, we've got angle XYZ. So that's this angle right here. So if we come over to copy 1, that's going to be DEF. Angle DEF. And over here on the original, it's going to be NOP. Okay? So the next question they ask us is either copy a scaled copy of the original figure. Well, if we look at it, what do you think? I'm thinking that copy 1 is, but not copy 2, because copy 2 is kind of squished down. All right, now they're asking us to use tracing paper to compare angle KLM to the corresponding angles. So I found some tracing paper. Actually, it's parchment paper. So I'm going to trace KLM right here. And then I'm going to lay it on top of the corresponding angle ABC, and it matches up perfect. Okay, then I'm going to come over here and lay it on top, and it does not match. Okay, so it says using tracing paper KLM with its corresponding angle in copy 1 and copy 2, what do you notice? Well, I noticed copy 1, it matched. Okay, now let's look at NOP. So let me trace NOP. So NOP right here, corresponding is this one right here. Up, it lines up perfectly. And if I come over here, it does not line up. Okay? All right. So now we're going to move on to this activity. Here is triangle O. Did we answer all the questions there? Yep. Okay. Triangle O followed by a number of other triangles. So we are being asked for each of your assigned triangles. So if we were in class, I would have only given you 2. But since you're at home, you get to do them all. Is each of the triangles a scaled copy of triangle O? Well, remember what we just learned about corresponding angles. When they were the scaled copy, the corresponding angles were the same. And what we learned yesterday about the sides, the corresponding sides have to be multiplied by the same number. So this is a right triangle. My A didn't show up too well here. Okay, this is triangle A. Is triangle A a right triangle? Nope, so that is not even a scaled copy. All right, triangle B is a right triangle, so that could work. C could work. D could work. E is this big triangle right here. Boy, these did not print out real well. So this is E. It is a right triangle, so that could work. F is not a right triangle. That's not going to work. G is a right triangle, and H is a right triangle. Okay? So now let's look at side lengths. Well, this has 3, 4, and 5. Well, this has 3, 4, and 5. These are identical triangles, but they are also scaled copies. The multiplier is times 1, so this works. Okay, so if I take 4, or let's take 3, how do I get from 3 to 2? Well, that would be multiplying it by 2/3. So 2/3 of 4, 4 times 2/3 is that 5. So let's look at this. Well, nope, it's not. So this is not a scaled copy, and you can tell by looking at it. This one is tall and skinny, and this one is not. So that's not a scaled copy. All right, this one is 2, so that means it's multiplied by 1/2. 3 times 1/2 is 3/2. 5 times 1/2 is 5/2. So those are all times 1/2. Okay. How about E? Well, E, 4, we go to 8. 3, we go to 6. 5, we go to 10. So I would say E is. And could we test the angles? Could I come up here and say, okay, this angle right here, let's see, yes, no, yes, yes, we already know that's a no. Oh, this one might work. So let's put a check mark on that. Let's see though here. 4, and we're going to 8/3. So that is times 2/3. That would be, and that would be. So looks like G, okay? Now let's test this little one down here. Oh, that one might work. Let's see. Well, this is 2 and this is 2, but this is 4. So half of 4 is 2, but half of 3 is not 2. So this one is not going to work. All right, so we used the angle, and then we also looked at the side length to determine, okay? So now we're going to list all the triangles in this table that were scaled copies. So we had triangle B, we had triangle D, E, and G. D, E, and G. All right, so now we're going to do correspond. What do they want us to do? They want us to record the side lengths that correspond to the side lengths in triangle O. Okay, so for B, what corresponds to 3 is, well, we said they were identical, so we're just going to put 3, 4, and 5. D was 3/2, 2, and 5/2. E is 6, 8, and 10. And G is 2, 8/3, and 10/3. All right, so explain or show how each copy has been scaled from the original. All right, so if we look at this, I'm looking at this, and I am going to multiply this times something to get 3/2. Well, what do I multiply it by? I multiply it by 1/2. All right, well, how did I get from here? Whoops. Let's try that again, Miss Laird. All right, let's look from here to here. What did I multiply it by? I multiplied it by 1. Okay, what did I multiply this by? We just talked about that. That was times 1/2. Okay, now let's take this original one and come down to here. What did we multiply that by? 3 times what is 6, 4 times what is 8, 5 times what is 10. That would be times 2. Then our last one is this one right here. 3 times what is 2? 2/3. 4 times 2/3 is 8/3, and 5 times 2/3 is 10/3. So we have multiplied that one by 2/3. All right? So now it says, explain or show how each copy has been scaled, and that's what we just did. We figured out the scale, what it was multiplied by, and notice the angles were the same. Now it says to choose one of the triangles that is not a scaled copy of triangle O. So when you come over here, take one of these triangles that we crossed out and see if you could make it a scaled copy. All right? Describe how you could change at least one side to make a scaled copy while leaving at least one side unchanged. So that's something for you to try. All right, and then the summary is what we did in class today. So corresponding parts, remember a figure and its scaled copy have corresponding parts or parts that are in the same position in relationship to the rest of the figure. They can be points, segments, angles, and they can also be distances. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. You have practice problems to do, and I hope we grew your math brain. Have a great day.